All right, before we get into the video, we're gonna do a quick blind test. We're gonna be playing this 19... All right, before we get into the video, we're gonna... All right, before we get started in this video...
I need to get another beer.
All right, real quick, we're gonna do a quick little blind test. Jesse's gonna be playing this 1976 Les Paul Deluxe through the Sheriff 22, and then I'm going to be playing this modern Les Paul 70s Deluxe through it as well. And I want you to pick which one you think sounds the best, and at the end of the video, we'll tell you which one was which. All right, so ever since I acquired my 1976 Deluxe, I've always wanted to do a comparison video to the modern equivalent of it, to see how they sound, see how they feel, and now I got my buddy here, Jesse, from Santa Monica, to come by and help test these out. Welcome.
Let's run it.
So I gave Jesse the 76 Les Paul Deluxe, just kind of see what he thinks about how it feels and sounds. He's played it a few times before, but now tonight we've kind of jammed a little bit. So what are your first overall thoughts about it in every aspect?
There's definitely something to be said about a vintage guitar. Some of them are amazing, some of them are alright, but this is a good one. The thing about a lot of Les Pauls for me, why I've never really bonded with them, is because sometimes like the mixture of the mahogany body and the pickups, there can just be a lot of low end, especially on the neck pickup, and I really like a neck pickup. But what's cool about this guitar is that the mini humbuckers make it sound way brighter than most Les Pauls, so I really enjoy that. Like the middle position on this guitar is kind of money. It's got a really slim neck for a vintage guitar. Like I'm more familiar with S-types in general, but there's something about vintage guitars, like unplugged too, it's pretty loud. But the main thing I noticed actually when I first picked this up is how heavy it is compared to, like, Les Pauls are heavy in general, but this one is super heavy. But this is kind of like, when I see this, it's just like the guitar I want to be seen playing.
Like, yeah, it's like a cool aesthetic. Yeah, it's a
like,
cool aesthetic
I
for
don't
sure.
know, like, this is just something you want to be seen playing on stage, and it's a vintage Les Paul, so it's badass. Like I said, though, the neck pickup in particular is still pretty bright compared to a lot of Les Pauls.
Yeah.
And then the bridge just has the straight, just rock and roll crank.
I think like Pete Townsend uses the Deluxes a lot. Mm-hmm. Most of this guitar is original. I know the tuners are not.
Yeah.
It's never been refretted.
Yeah, that's the main thing, is this guitar's frets basically don't exist anymore, so it's pretty difficult to play. And all of my guitars are set up with jumbo stainless steel frets, so it's like complete opposite, but it still does the thing. Like, it does the Les Paul thing. It's a sick guitar. Like, I would, if I got a Les Paul, the mini humbucker thing would entice me for sure. This guitar is like almost 50 years old. Like, that's what you're gonna get. But the way that it resonates and the pickups, it's a good one.
It has a harmonica bridge, which I don't see a lot. I don't know if that was original to the year. When I was looking up other 76 Deluxes, I didn't see it on it, so that might be an add-on that whoever owned it then did. The mini humbuckers are original, and then the back plate I think I stole from another Les Paul. My favorite thing about this one is the neck. I love how, like, the finish, and then there's like fading right here if you look at the bottom of it from the player before me. I love that. And I love how it's dinged up. I don't gotta worry about really messing it up too much. As this one, where I'm not even trying to breathe on this damn thing.
I don't think I've ever talked about this, but do you know who owned this before you, or?
It was like through it was kind of like a stoner buddy I was hanging out with. It was just around, and I was just always playing with it. And I thought I knew nothing about the guitars at the time. I thought it was from like the 90s.
Okay.
And maybe because of the mini humbuckers, for some reason I went 90s.
Yeah. And
I was like, hey man, like this is sitting here. I think it was his dad's, but his dad wasn't around. I don't know whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, you just take it to the store and like let me know what it is. And I said, okay. So I took it, and they're like, it's from the 70s. It's worth however much. And I said, okay. So I told him, and he's like, just give me like $600 for it.
Matt always gets these crazy deals.
And I was like, I mean, all right. And we were friends for a while, but.
Yeah.
Compared to this one, this neck is way chunkier.
Yeah.
Give this one a feel, give this one a play, and tell me how you feel about this one. Any similarities, any differences?
Yeah.
I have to say, they're both pretty much a similar weight, which...
Yeah. This one's thicker, though, it looks... At least from...
Can you, do it like a...
Yeah, I don't know. At least from where I'm...
It does look... You're right, it does.
It feels slightly thicker, but that might be because that's 2 pieces of wood.
Yeah, so this is a pancake body, mahogany body. This is just a solid body, mahogany body. Maple top.
Yeah.
I
don't know. It's hard.
I think it's a 3-piece top too.
It is.
Yeah, it is. You can see it.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I actually noticed about both these, so besides the weight, they're kind of similar, which I love.
Yeah.
And you mentioned this before we were shooting. You thought it was.
I figured it was chambered because a lot of modern Les Paul style guitars are chambered, meaning they just carve out wood inside of the guitar, so that's lighter.
Yeah. And I think they really stayed true to the 70s, which is actually really cool. I kind of
I agree.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's really heavy. That's actually my biggest complaint about this thing.
Yeah.
If I have a gig for longer than an hour and a half,
yeah, that thing's a tank.
My neck hurts. So I think this is a little heavier than this, but
yeah.
How do you think about feel and sound? Where are you at with feel?
The first thing I notice is that the neck is way chunkier, and it's also that guitar I thought was actually pretty loud unplugged, but this one is really loud.
Yeah,
Maybe
this
it's
one also
because
has
of the fresh strings.
Fresh strings, yeah. I mean, these are like a week old.
Also, the radius of the fretboard feels a little more even. I think that's just because that fretboard's a little bit older. And it might be because these frets are taller. The sounds that you get from both the guitars are pretty similar. Actually, these pickups are a little bit more balanced than that guitar too. In terms of the output. That guitar, the neck pickup's really bright, but they sound a little, the balance isn't quite there. It almost sounds like a guitar that has a single coil in the neck and a humbucker in the bridge. This one, 100% honestly does feel pretty good, and maybe it's because of the mini humbuckers. I'm really haven't experimented that much with them.
Mini humbuckers.
They're snappy.
I think that they're one of the most underrated guitar pickups. I don't think they're used as much. I think when I first saw it, I thought it looked weird.
Yeah.
But you get used to it.
Yeah, I guess obviously certain guitars that you play make you play in different ways. Like if I have a Strat, I don't know, the Hendrix thing. Whereas this one makes me kind of want to go there.
Yeah, it's so snappy. Yeah.
Especially I don't know, it almost sounds like kind of Stratty. I know that doesn't make any sense.
People compare it to a Telly.
Yeah, like a Telly, I guess. I like this one. I don't know if it's the fresh strings or maybe it's the frets, but they're not that different. Though.
You feel the difference though.
Yeah.
This to me anyway.
You feel it for sure.
When I'm playing that one, it feels like a modern guitar.
Yeah.
It feels 100% consistent everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Whereas this, there's sort of some.
Yeah.
But in a good way. I don't mean that in a bad way for this guitar. I like its sort of chaotic like inconsistencies
Yeah,
sometimes. I think the interesting thing about most reissues or when Gibson makes guitars based off of vintage guitars, the price points are significantly different, whereas this is like $2,300 and you can get like at least a 76 Deluxe between like 35 to, depending on the condition, to 6K.
Yeah.
So like it's like they're doing 59 reissues where
Right,
like that
right,
guitar's like 6,000, 7,000, whereas you obviously could not even attain that with the actual one.
Honestly, here's where I'm at with both of these is
Pretend that's not a gold top, by the way.
Yeah.
Don't let gold top get in your head.
As like my job for the past 4 years has like in some form or another been playing guitar. I would pick that guitar and then get it set up really nice. But for 90% of people that are just grabbing a guitar, like this is for sure the one to go because you can just buy it and it's great. Like that one, it's gonna take literally months working with
you run into more issues
a tech,
with it.
figuring out how to get it sounding good, get the frets done.
I mean, it was built differently.
Exactly. So like I would lean towards this one. You know, I want the vintage thing, but practically like this is the guitar to go with. Grab a couple more beers.
Yeah, let's grab a couple more beers and then we'll do some more tests running through the same amp, and then we'll do some more jamming. We got the beers. We're all dialed in with the Sheriff 22. All right, so we'll start with the.
Here, try this one.
I don't know.
I think there's a big difference.
No, there is.
This is way brighter. That one's a lot fatter.
I think the strings might have something to do with that a little bit. So try and take that out of the equation a little bit of the brightness.
Just listening, that one sounds more like a Les Paul to me.
So I will say, this might be because of the fretting thing, but I feel like I have to dig in a little bit harder with this one, whereas this one I don't need to try as much to kind of get that, especially on the bridge pickup. It still sounds really good though.
Yeah.
So we're going to do the same thing with Jesse, but he's going to play a little bit different of a style, a little bit more clean as well, so you can sort of hear those differences.
Yeah.
Any day.
Let's see what that is. The neck pickup on this guitar is so much brighter.
From hearing just this, it sounds like that the bridge pickup's going to be way better.
This one, now that I'm actually like comparing them plugged in, it just doesn't have the same mojo. Like this one, It feels really good. It's super easy
Compare
to play.
this to nothing. It's great.
Oh, no, this is a fantastic guitar. I'm be happy to have this guitar. But, like, I would choose this in terms of playing. Like, if I'm sitting there doing, it's way easier. But that guitar just, like...
It's got the mojo.
It's got the mojo. Makes me want to unbutton.
Alright,
It's the mojo, baby.
You're right. So this sounds great. I agree. But there's a something to be said for the mojo.
Yeah.
Just say that.
I remember we were talking about guitars once, like this.
You and me?
Yeah, where I said the analogy applies that this is kind of like a Honda Civic. This guitar does exactly what it's supposed to do.
Sure.
Like, Honda Civic's gonna get you where you need to go. It's got good gas mileage and it's reliable.
And this thing's like a Jeep Wrangler.
Exactly.
We're gonna take to the shop every
You
time
gotta take care of it,
But I
it's
love
badass,
it. It's a good car.
and it's got mojo, and you're gonna go off-roading with that thing.
I mean, it's older. It's way more miles on it.
Yeah,
It has more experience.
Yeah.
I mean, so here's the real question. Let's say this is just $4,000 for
Yeah.
whatever reason, give or take.
Uh-huh.
Do you think it would be worth forking out the extra $1,700 for something like
No.
this?
No.
Other than that.
Get a good amp, and then...
Well, that topic's that I'm not talking
No,
about.
I just mean, like, if you're gonna spend $2,300 on a guitar or $4,000, I would buy this guitar. If both of these guitars are $2,300 and the average person who's guitar shopping, I would still tell them to get this one, because a lot of people who are buying a guitar are still learning about what they like and what they don't like, and it's better to get a guitar that inspires you to play and it's easy to play.
Sure.
So, like, that's the bottom line to me. Like, I prefer that as someone who has spent my 10,000 hours playing guitar.
I think this one's more honest. You really have to get used to it.
It's a hot guitar.
But when it comes to more consistency, let's say like an intermediate player, you're right. I think that would be a better option.
You can't go wrong. I mean, we're
it's
lucky
tough.
to be playing
Yeah.
amazing guitars.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
I could play this all day long and not get tired of it ever. And this is coming from someone who doesn't play Les Pauls often.
Sure.
Not a big Les Paul guy, so.
If you really love that vintage appeal, which I now do, if you have the extra cash and you really truly want a vintage guitar, I would definitely play it first if you can. I know it's hard to do that. I mean, I don't think that's a terrible option. Overall, mini humbuckers rule.
I like them.
If you're gonna take
Yeah.
anything in this video, just take that mini humbuckers are
Yeah.
very, I think, underrated.
Yeah, I
They're
haven't
killer
spent a lot
pickups.
of time with them, but I like them.
Yeah, they're pretty versatile. So
They're bright, punchy, not a lot of low end.
Sure.
It's pretty kind of mid-heavy, so
Yeah.
that's what I like.
Well, Jesse, thanks for walking on over.
It's been sick.
Yeah. All right. So for the blind test, the first guitar that was played was the modern '70s Les Paul Deluxe,
Mhm.
and then clip B was the '76 Les Paul Deluxe. So which one did you pick? Which one do you think sounded better? Were you surprised by the one that you chose? Has your opinion changed watching the rest of this video?
I think mine did.
So let us know. Yeah.
Like, from when we were first talking about the guitars until I really got to A/B them,
Sure.
it changed. So
Yeah. All right, well, thanks as always for watching. You can check out other videos I do on my channel. I'll link Jesse's channel down in the description as well. He makes killer guitar lessons. He has great licks too, so you can learn half of the stuff he was playing today. Let me know if there's any other comparison videos you'd like to see me do. Also, let me know, and we'll see you in the next one. See you. All right, real quick, before we get started in the video, we're gonna do a quick blind test. All right, before we get started in this video, this is always the biggest obstacle for me. All right, real quick, we're gonna do a little blind test. Yeah, I'm gonna cut this up. That's what I'm gonna do.
okay. Oh, so I should stay still.
No, it doesn't matter. I would do that. All right, real quick, we're gonna do a little blind test.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
We did it. We finally did it.
Okay, what's next?
Do I know?